One down, one to go. The first semi-final is complete. And predictably, perhaps, it is a Protoss player who goes through, but he didn't have it all his own way, Sean, did he?
No, not at all. And I think a lot of people out there were like, hold on a minute, is Corden going to beat San? Even I was believing it when I was commentating up there. I think that he really played well in that series.
Yeah, 2-1 up, crushes a cannon rush, and you kind of go, ooh, hold on, this might be his day after all. How did San dig himself out?
He's a world-class player, and that's kind of the underline of it all, really. San is capable of so much right now. In the last 9 months, he's skyrocketed to the top. He's a champion, and he's really standing here today to prove that too.
Yeah, so he's through to the final. It's going to be either a PvP or a PvT. Can we get one of the Terrans through to the final? He was the only man that made the round of 8 after all. He was very impressive yesterday for ForGG. It's ForGG versus StarDust. A couple of players who have very different backgrounds. ForGG, one of those guys, hasn't won anything yet in terms of Premier tournaments. He's been around for what seems like forever. StarDust only recently, last year, won his first Premier tournament. So both sort of really need another one, or at least need their first one.
Absolutely, and I really think that StarDust coming into this is probably, for me at least, the favourite, but ForGG has a massive opportunity here, and over the years, he's really disappointed, or I think disappointed may be a harsh word, but a lot of his fans expected him to do better than he has done, and it's finally his chance. He practiced for a Protoss player yesterday, he's going against a Protoss player today, and if he wins that, he's going against another one in the final. It all makes sense right now for him to go through.
Yeah, absolutely. Before we get into the details of these two players, we did catch up with them yesterday, or rather Todd caught up with both players to get their thoughts on their performance in the round of 8.
You beat Wellmu 3-0 in the quarterfinals. Did you expect to be this successful in the matchup against your Protoss opponent?
Yeah, Protoss really strong, but I practice a lot and my winner rate is very good. So today, my match against Wellmu, I really confident, so I expect 3-0.
During Season 1 of WCS Europe 2013, you finished 3rd after some epic games against Stefano. How important is it to you that you reached the finals here?
I lost chance against WCS Season 1, but that time I'm bad, TVG. But now I think my TVP is really strong, so also I can be StarDust even tomorrow.
You will face StarDust next, and you use a lot of unconventional builds against Wellmu. Should we expect you to go back to standard play against him, or will you keep mixing it up?
Basically, I'm confused now but I really have a lot of traits. I see innovation, MMA, and today my build. I have really so many traits. So I still thinking in hotel tomorrow, probably will be mixed.
What are you expecting from your opponent, since he seems to be capable to do a lot of different style? And can you give me a score prediction?
StarDust is cheese again, like Wellmu, but I think a little bit better than Wellmu, so I just focus again all Protoss cheese, and it will be, I think, 3-2.
Okay, all right. Well, ForGG seeming confident after his win yesterday. How surprised were you, or not surprised, that he won so easily?
Very surprised, actually. I had a feeling that he was going to do well, but the way that he played was the most surprising part, because ForGG is a player who, throughout all of his career, has played the same style and is very predictable over and over and over, and it's actually cost him a lot of games. He's known for not scouting. He just does what he does, and then he tries to execute it, and he's lost tournaments because of that. But when he came into yesterday's games, he was a different player. He just brought out 3 builds that I did not expect. None of them. And
I don't think Wellmo did either. I mean, I spoke to Wellmo on Friday, and he was very, very confident. He was like, nope, I know exactly how he plays. He plays the same every time. I've been watching his replays. It's exactly what he does. I've got builds ready for everything he can throw at me in terms of the way he plays in his standard way, and I've practiced against Bunny until the moon is gone and the sun's come back up again. I know exactly what's going to happen. And he had no idea what had happened yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, that's the different skill set you need from when playing on ladder, or when you're playing in big tournaments like DreamHack or Intel Extreme Masters. You play a bunch of different players in a row, and you need to have a solid game because you aren't able to prepare specifically for a player. Where we saw ForGG, who changed it up, says, all right, I'm not just playing against a ladder Protoss right now where I can do my normal thing. I'm playing against this guy. He's this he likes to play this kind of style, and these are the builds I'm going to use from game 1 to game 5. Preparation, it's very important in coming to this type of tournament where you are given time, and that will play into today. The only one thing that might not work out for his favor is, has he run out of builds? Is he going to now, is he forced to go back to what he usually does because he has run out?
Or does he actually want to go back? So it's kind of, it's clever because it's a bit like StarDust in that we 6 months ago would have said, he'll throw plenty of cheese in, and then he played a whole tournament where he didn't do anything, and then you go, now I don't know what he's going to build. So it could work out for 4GG. Let's find out with Todd once more what StarDust thought of his performance in the quarterfinal.
You face First, who's extremely good at PvP. What did you expect out of him going into the match, and how did the games match up to your expectations?
First is very good PvP player, and I lost last time at round 16. So I prepared something special build like 11 gateway and 3 gateway push, and I expect every situation like when he make Oracle or Dark Templar or Blink Stalker even. So it was pretty same with my expectation.
You will be playing 4GG next. How confident do you feel in PvT, especially in your best of 5 where you can only veto just one map?
ForGG is very strong player, but I know his style. He always doing very similar style, like more of the heavy. So I will prepare about that. I will play very safety, and maybe I will do 2 gas with proxy Oracle. Maybe every game. Then I can do like 4 different build order, like proxy Oracle and 3 gateway all-in, or like proxy Oracle, then just double Nexus, and proxy Oracle and double Nexus, and with a Robo, and or like proxy Stargate, and just triple Nexus. That's my storage for tomorrow.
David Kim announced potential buffs for Terran to come soon. What do you think about that? And can you share your general opinion about Protoss versus Terran?
Be honestly, PvT is pretty good for Protoss. It's true, but David Kim tried to change fixing so many times, so too often, I think. So when he have like idea to change game, he must do in just one time, not like very often. So I don't, and about medic bag drop something, I don't care, but it will be tough for Protoss, but I can't do anything about that. I can't fight with David Kim, so just follow his like new patch, then try to my best. That's the only way, I think.
Thank you.
I think the most surprising thing about that, Sean, is that he's happy to talk about builds. I mean, is he really going to bust those builds out? That's for the camera, right?
That's for the camera, though he will not use those builds. The funny thing is the double bluff where he actually does use those builds.
Yeah, he's just keeping 4GG guessing just in case he's looking at the screen.
You don't
what
read
he's
anything
doing?
into
What?
that. Yeah, you don't.
He's a fun guy though, isn't he?
Yeah, StarDust is a lovable character. He's very funny, actually. I think that's kind of one of the best ways to describe him. He's lovable, and everyone enjoys his company.
Yeah, absolutely. He'll come and irritate the hell out of you as well after you've lost.
He will.
If you win or lose against him, he'll still come over and talk to you. And in fact, he does the same thing to us on camera, even when we're in the middle of a piece here in the studio. He'll just wander up and have something random to say. He's just, he's lovable like that. Let's concentrate on 4GG in a little bit more detail now. It would be fair to say that he has had one of those awkward careers. He's been a great player. We know how good his TVT is, for instance. It's just out of this world. But he somehow has never quite made it there. Top 4 in WCS last year, Season 1. He's had a couple of top 8s at DreamHacks. Why is he one of those few players left, if you like, top Korean players that we think of in top players circles that hasn't actually made it to the Premier?
I think one of the big problems with ForGG over the years is his Terran versus Terran has always stayed consistent. It's actually, as you said, one of his best, if not the best out there. But when it comes to Terran versus Protoss and Terran versus Zerg, some tournaments he looks great against one and bad against the other, and then he works on the other, and then it becomes the opposite. It kind of works on both ways for him. But right now, he's very good against Protoss. He's only got Protoss to play, and that's actually one of the best things for ForGG in the world right now, where he doesn't need to think about playing Zerg and Protoss, where sometimes, as mentioned, he struggles playing both.
These two have played each other 3 times, and it's all been very recently, actually, in the last 12 months. But every time they've played, it's been Acer Team Story Cup. They haven't played outside of that. You can't really put too much stock on that, although I'm sure ForGG will be thinking, I'm 3-0 up right now, I can do this.
Yeah, I mean, ATC is just one map, so you can't read too much into just one map. Best of 5 is really get a good feel for how they're going to face up against each other. But that's a vote of confidence, first of all. And then with him feeling confident against Protoss, and they know each other's style really well. StarDust is, you know, a cheesy guy. He will throw out builds to try and throw you off. He will be aggressive. It's going to definitely be a good series.
With the change-up that he made against Whelmo, it was a welcome change, I think, for a lot of Terran players that have watched him over the years. Is he still too predictable?
No, I mean, not in this tournament, at least. I think he's played really well this season in Premier League, and he's really warranted at the position he's in.
Okay, let's take a look at StarDust now. It's fair to say that StarDust has a great record overall, 67.4% against Terrans, which is, you know, fabulous stat in terms of what he's done all career. But recently, he's 8-8. 8 wins, 8 losses against Terrans. That would suggest that he may have lost his way a little bit against the Terrans.
Yeah, I mean, in a lot of different tournaments, wherever he's playing online or offline, who he's playing against, these are all things you need to factor in. So it is sometimes difficult to call, but the thing is for StarDust is he's very intelligent when it comes to preparing for individual players, just similar to how ForGG was against Whelmu. And I know for a fact that he has plans from game 1 to game 5 on, depending on what map it is, of course.
Just not the ones he said in the video.
Most likely not the ones in the video.
Yeah, that's part of the fun. So where do you rank him right now in world terms? Because it's difficult when you look at his WCS rank to figure it out, you know, where he fits in. I mean, breakout year last year, really, really strong. He went to almost every tournament as a threat. You never counted him out when it got to the later bracket stages. But where is he right now in 2014?
StarDust for me is really hard to compare StarDust to the best in the world because he never really plays against them, unfortunately. When you look at him in the European scene, he's absolutely one of the best Protoss players that we have in the European scene. I think it's safe to say that he's obviously you know, combining European and American together. In Korea, it's hard to say, but he, for me, definitely top 3 Protoss in Europe. Okay,
we ranked ForGG's win over Whelmo as an exceptionally good win. Where did you put StarDust's win over first? Because you had that man as a man that could go all the way.
You know, that's the thing with StarDust is a lot of the times you look at him and you say, yeah, I think the other guy can beat StarDust because, you know, all you need to do is be safe against StarDust and you can edge through. But one thing I've learned over the years with StarDust is you actually can never count him out. He's always a threat and he's always a big potential to beat the other guy.
Yeah, Matt vetoes are incoming momentarily. They're messing around behind the referee. That's how much fun they're having over there right now.
StarDust is a funny guy. He's probably telling ForGG that it's going to be 3-0. It doesn't matter what you pick or something.
He's probably telling him his build orders.
Yeah, he's like, did you see the video? No. Oh, okay, I'm going to go double Oracle and proxy Oracle and this guy.
Yeah, this guy. Matt vetoes incoming. What do you expect here?
The Altazine for ForGG probably out the way. Waystation for StarDust. Waystation's always vetoed out by Protoss players. They don't play it anyway, so let's get rid of it here. Altazine's hard too.
It's been a very predictable season, really, in terms of Matt vetoes, isn't it?
Yeah,
got much excitement out of it.
Interestingly, though, StarDust removes Altazine, and that's usually a map where Terran players don't like to play against Protoss on, but that's interesting, because that, for me, says to ForGG...
games.
Yeah, ForGG's like, all right, well... All right, Waystation's gone, so
do you think if StarDust had removed Waystation, then ForGG would have removed Altazim, and they're just like, whatever?
These are the 2 maps which are always vetoed out. I mean, no one likes to play these 2 maps as much as the other ones, so...
Okay, so Frost first, so the biggest map of the 5 that are left is first. That'll suit StarDust, I guess?
Super standard map here. I think both players will be happy with that one. Just, it's a good general map to start the series on. You get a good feel for the pace of the series on that map.
And Habitation, I've grown to like Habitation. I didn't initially find it a particularly fun map, but as a Terran player, I've really enjoyed playing on it recently. And the Zergs have been doing some funky stuff. We saw Golden, obviously.
Game 2 and Game 3, or should I say Map 2 and Map 3, we're going to be seeing some funky stuff here. Habitation Station does kind of favor that a little bit more. King Sejong Station, you can proxy anything anywhere. It's a really big map, so scouting is so important for 4GG there. So definitely fireworks as we enter the mid part of this series.
Yeah, going to have Overgrowth 4th and merry-go-round. If we need it, we'll be 5th, and we've already had one 3-2 game. So what odds on another one? Are we pushing our luck a little bit?
I might be pushing it a little bit here.
We said, though, before Golden, we kind of wrote the guy off. I mean, to be fair, we were like, hey, on paper, this looks like a straightforward Sam win. It was much closer than any of us thought it would be.
Now I think about it, I think this series is going to be close either way. It's really hard to call a victor between the both of them. 4GG is looking great. StarDust is great anyway. It's hard to call a winner.
Yeah, the Ligulac odds on this one, because I always like to check them out before we go live, 53-47.
Yeah, I mean, that's...
So, yeah, who's got a coin here? We'll flip it.
It's closest thing to a coin.
Hey, it's a Terran coin.
It's a Terran. Will it land on the Terran heads? Stardust's going to win.
There we go. Decided by the flip of a coaster. Protoss wins the coaster trip. Good job, Sean. Good job. Are you going to stick with the coaster, or would you like to change?
I'm going to go with the Terran symbol. That's my honest opinion. I think
really?
4GG
You think 4GG wins
this?
this?
I believe in him. I believe. I think it's time for 4GG to finally win a tournament.
Time for a Terran to do the same.
Time for a Terran to win a tournament. Time for a Terran to win the Europe Premier League.
In terms of Europe, yes, indeed. Okay, thank you very much, Apollo. We'll hear more from Sean after this match as he breaks down. Don't forget, we've got the show match to come up as well. But first, ladies and gentlemen, 2 of the last 3 players alive in WCS Europe go head-to-head. It's StarDust going up against 4GG with the commentary team of Todd and Kalaris.
All right, thanks very much. Semi-final number 1 was a cracker. And now we get on to the second to see who is going to be joining San in the grand final.
Yeah, a PVT here on our hands. We had 2 PVTs in the previous season in the semi-finals. One Terran won the first one, and Protoss won the other one. So this time, only one of these guys will make it to the finals. It's funny because I was sitting next to StarDust earlier while he was preparing for this match, so I saw pretty much everything was preparing. And it was quite accurate with, it was quite in line with what he predicted, or at least he revealed to us in the interview he was going to do. There was a lot of proxy stargates here and there, some actual proxy gateways here and there as well.
Ooh.
So we'll see if he sticks to that. He was also, it's funny, like StarDust, I really feel like he's one of those players who doesn't particularly have an ego. Like he's always asking for advice. He was asking me, for Pete's sake. He was asking me like for a bunch of stuff. I'm like, whoa.
That's getting desperate, that.
I was like, wow, are you really asking me for advice here and there? And he's like, yeah. So
fair play, yeah.
I shared some of my thoughts with him, and I saw him chat with Classic.
Okay, oh.
The GSL champ himself gave some pointers to StarDust, so
all
it's
right.
going to be cool.
Well, I mean, considering what we saw from 4GG yesterday with his, I would say, dismantling of Wellmu, how much do you think that really weighs on to these games? Because, you know, StarDust has got to have seen those. Do you think 4GG is going to do anything hugely different to the kind of style he was bringing against Wellmu?
I think it's possible, but if he was to play very aggressive, it could play right into StarDust's hand. Like yesterday, we saw first trying to play StarDust's game with mind games from very early on, very aggressive builds, and StarDust, that's what he craves. That's what he loves the most. So if you are going to play like this against him, you need to get lucky, I guess, somewhere in there. You cannot afford to make any mistakes because he's so experienced in the early game in terms of cheeses, in terms of aggressive builds early on in games. There is nobody that has more experience than this guy here.
All right, well, we'll be getting into this in just a second. First map will be Frost for this semi-final. All the players are ready to go. Again, one of these guys will be going on to the grand final to play against San, a guy who looks on top of the world right now. A little bit shaky in his semi-final, but one of these could give him a run for his money. They're going to get through one another, though, as I don't know which way this is going to go. I actually can't call it. I think they're so evenly matched here, both so highly ranked in the WCS system right now. StarDust a little bit higher. Let's get into it. Semi-final number 2 of the day, as we have, spawning down to the bottom right-hand corner, our red Protoss. Representing my insanity, it's StarDust. And up to the top left, we have the Terran hope of the European region right now, representing Millennium. It's 4GG.
I actually didn't see StarDust practice Frost earlier, so I have no idea what he's going to go for on that map. And if he does what he said he would do, we're going to see a proxy Stargate, some oracles being used here and there, and probably some very aggressive build with a bunch of gateways. It's funny that he mentioned that he likes to open oracle and then go into anything. Basically keep the turn wandering. He can do it with a quick third nexus, with a quick tech to anything, with a lot of gateways and just be aggressive. He seems to enjoy oracles, so pretty much.
Basically what you're saying is one of the strengths that StarDust goes into this series with is variety, more so than anything.
Around Katowice, when he was practicing versus Terran, his go-to build was to go for Blink and Colossus.
Yep.
And then from there, he would go into either a 2-base Colossus all-in or sometimes Quick Storm and sometimes just a lot of Blink Stalkers and would make more Colossus. So it was back then already a scenario where he was using one main build and then he would transition from the mid-game into anything he wanted. But in this game, we're going to have actually CC first against Nexus first.
All right, a lot of respect being given out from these guys. Macro to begin things off. And nobody's going to really find any way around. Even the macro got a cheer from the crowd there, just a little bit. So, I'm going to add on the gateway as well. And StarDust has sent his first probe out for the scout a little bit around.
Golden walks into the studio and gets a lot of cheer.
He deserves it, man. A valiant effort in that series. He almost took down San, and San is looking on fire in that matchup. That was a crazy series. I was thoroughly enjoying that. But now we'll find out San's opponent going into the grand final. Just 2 barracks opening here. So this is very similar to what ForGG actually did against Wellmu in the 3rd game, I believe. But, you know, it's the standard command center first opening.
Yeah, StarDust opening for CC first here is very, it's very interesting and cool. I think he's, overall, I think he has a very good idea of how ForGG could play on this map, or in general. So it makes sense to go for Nexus first. Now my question is, what is he going to follow this up with? Does he go for 8 gateway and opens up with maybe a cheese that ForGG would not have expected on this map? Or in general from StarDust? We'll see, I guess.
Yeah, we'll find out that.
Double gas, though, very quickly.
With the double gas now, this probe is trying to get out of there. Whilst that command center finished up, I think that SCV does see it moving away, though. So, yeah, he does. That's important to note because StarDust, you know, he did mention in the interview that he could be prone to some sneakiness. That probe is going to double back on itself, though, and try and head on him, but the Marines should be able to deny it.
He does make Mothership Core immediately. He's getting a Stalker. Maybe Stargate behind this. One Stalker is a possibility. And ForGG actually, since he scouted this late, he shouldn't be able to see anything since there's going to be a Stalker out, which I think will stay back at home for StarDust. That would make sense. Still no Mothership Core.
Just get started now, so playing a little bit of a greedy-ish game. Not too much, though, obviously, because the tech didn't go down before that or anything, but now and we'll find out what's going to happen with ForGG a little bit supply block, trying to get out of that, unfortunately for him.
Sentry behind this, huh? Okay. I really think that here, if you go Nexus first and then you go into something like 6 or 7 gateways, it can be very strong, because it's very hard to scout as well if you had the gateways well. But in this case, he's getting a robo, so StarDust might actually play standard against all odds here.
Yeah.
Those mind games, man, from the interview.
Maybe feel out his opponent in this first match. That won't be too bad. Cross positions, I mean, it gives you a lot of room to breathe here on a map like this. ForGG has gathered up a lot of Marines. He's not going for a super fast kind of concussive shells like we saw him kind of mix in once or twice against Wellmu earlier on during the tournament. But for now, and just also playing standard with that engineering bay going down behind this. Probably going to rush out plus more weapons anytime soon.
I'm guessing there's going to be some Colossus play here. I wonder if it's going to be 1 or 2 Forges. Pig Baby, actually, last night when he played versus Teja, did very well with Colossus and double Forge builds. And when I asked StarDust about it today, he didn't seem too interested, actually.
No?
I guess he knows that he has his own style, and what Pig Baby did is very, very different. So does not particularly bother try to study.
Oh, and there we go, double Forge, actually. So everything you were kind of alluding to just then is kind of coming true, but they're separated in such a way that if a scan was to drop on one of them, he may be a little bit, you know, fall into a different kind of opinion here, unless it's a weird mistake and he cancels one.
StarDust has tricked everybody, especially me. Double additional gateway, I like this. I expect he will be adding a few more as well later on. We should be seeing a Twilight Council as well. And I really like that Warp Prism. StarDust is one of the very few Protosses that really insist on always having a Warp Prism versus Terran out on the map, loaded up with Zealots so that when Terran moves out, he just drops Zealots in the middle line, try to take down SCVs left and right. And it's really something you can achieve a lot with. And then from there, if you're ahead, well, there is a lot of timings that you can hit with a lot of Colossi. You can be greedier with stuff. That pylon on the bottom left-hand side of the map, though, I don't know what to make of this.
I'm quite surprised he's sticking around with his probe, actually. So it kind of leads me to believe he's going to hide something down there.
The Twilight, maybe?
I mean, anything to try and throw his opponent off guard. Maybe he goes
Another
for one
Robo.
Colossus or another Robo and just like ferries them over from there. Twilight Council's going to go down. I guess it might be for a Dark Shrine in that bottom left-hand corner. With this Warp Prism now looking to do some harassment.
Yeah, this reminds me of a build that we saw Yonghua do a while back. I think he played against Flash, like on Heavy Rain and all that. Ooh, 4 more gateways.
Ooh.
So going up to 7 gateways. StarDust is on 20 plus 20 probes on his mineral patches. So I'm guessing he's going to cut here for a moment before maybe starting a third base. And that Warp Prism, I think, he's going to see with the hallucination those units in the middle of the map. He's probably going to start dropping Zealots left and right. And this could do a lot of damage.
Yeah.
ForGG has his entire force in the middle of the map. And I'm pretty sure he's not used of being dropped like this.
He is way out of position to deal with it, you're right. And the third command center is going down all the way. But
that army of ForGG is really scary, actually.
it is. I mean, he has the one Colossus there and some space control with the force field, so he could divide that off quite nicely. There goes the Zealot harassment, though. This is kind of do or die time for ForGG, for the SCVs at least. He brings back the reinforcements, so that should be able to clean things up. But behind this, StarDust's force is gathering a lot of strength.
Yeah, since ForGG wasn't being engaged in the middle of the map, then he just had to focus all his attention on defending back at home, and he didn't lose much at all. He lost 4 SCVs total this game, that's it. Uses a call-down supply here, so I guess he was maybe thrown a little bit off his game for a moment, didn't want to be supply blocked. I guess he does have a third base on the way. Oof, StarDust, does he go for a third base? Usually with this you do, but he's cut probe production for a long time now. If you look at the probe count, he's on 53.
Do you reckon he just goes 2-2 blink and then goes for very, very aggressive standard from there?
Well, I think it could be very good because he has a Warp Prism forward as well. But yeah, I don't know. 2-2 will finish kind of late after that third base of ForGG finishes. So he's going to have a lot more units supposedly. But actually that fourth and fifth barrack by ForGG are quite late. When you think about the fact that StarDust is already on a lot of Colossus tech and 7 gateways.
He's got to be careful with this bio army as well. He doesn't want to lose too much here. He actually steps up and goes for the fight. Be careful. You don't have any Vikings with this army.
One Zealot was sent in the middle line of the third base of ForGG, by the way.
Nice little move to distract and maybe try and catch some of the SCVs. But he is chasing this army back. There's only 2 Vikings out right now, with only 1 more in production. That's 3 Colossi now barreling down on this position.
He's going to use the Warp Prism to reinforce, and he's going to commit quite a bit to this attack here. This has to do a lot of damage. ForGG, he's on 2 Vikings against 4 Colossi right now.
If he sits around and waits for all of these upgrades to finish, when they line up, it's going to pack so much punch. He's going to bring the Mothership Core along with this as well, with the double energy for a double time warp when he needs it. And this could really hurt, especially if he gets the Vikings.
He's going to have 2-2. I mean, ForGG is really good at getting good concaves, but he's going to need better than just a good concave in this fight if he wants to be able to hold.
It's going to be a significant upgrade advantage with the extra 1-1 over the 1-1 that we currently have here for ForGG. It's only just started +2 weapons during all of this.
He barely misses the army with the scan.
All right, a few Zealots trickle on in, maybe trying to lure his opponent out of position, and indeed they are. The Guardian Shield goes up. He actually blinks forwards to try and bring down the Vikings. He knows if he can take those down, those Colossi are going to absolutely rip the Spire Force apart. The Force Shield's not really working too well with the Zealots, but at the same time, he will push that Bio Force away. 3 Colossi still remain. ForGG has to take the high ground and retreat.
Yeah, not the best micro by StarDust here, but it might be enough. ForGG has lost a lot. Look at his army.
A lot of blows there up on this right-hand side now. This few of those Colossi are actually vulnerable to that Bioforce that they could have tried to swing around, but the Warp Prism is reinforcing with Zealots to hold that back. A lot of Zealots on the north as well, pushing on forward. StarDust with absolutely clinical 2-2 blink hitting here is absolutely going to ravage everything that we're seeing of ForGG. GG, guys. Game number 1 goes to StarDust.
I have to wonder what was ForGG trying to prepare for here. He was just playing a flavorless standard game, like not really trying to read well enough or too much what StarDust was doing, which I guess if he had seen the double forge somehow would have become obvious, but you said it, the forges were split apart. How do you realize that you're up against double forge if you don't see them or if you see one of them? Obviously, it's going to be very difficult. ForGG, because of the way he played this game with the quick CC and then the third base, he had very late medivacs. He couldn't really drop against Protoss waiting on 2 bases.
Yeah.
So he had no idea. So maybe a few scans here and there would have been able to realize what could be happening. A few better placed Marines as well on the third bases of StarDust, and he would have known that there's no third base on the way for a very long time. He did start at some point, but yeah, he should have been a lot more careful here. And also that first team, you know, that first big steam when he was next to StarDust base, maybe an overreaction. He didn't have to use it just yet.
Yeah, I actually really, really like how you described that in terms of kind of flavorless, right? Like, what was he really doing special there to kind of shut down a very strong, pretty standard Protoss timing that can come along and hit you that no doubt ForGG has played against before. So now onto Habitation Station. Do you think if we were to see exactly the same game again, what would ForGG really do in terms of a change to kind of make that work?
I think he should definitely look into getting more Vikings earlier. Now he made too many medivacs, and he added his barracks a little bit late. I really feel like it was a little bit late also. So even though he, like, I don't know, he had a ton of bio, it was weird of a game. Like, usually you're not particularly supposed to have what ForGG had at this time. And yeah, the fights from both players, I feel, it wasn't great either. Like the force fields, you know, you said it, they didn't really help the Zealots getting there.
Yeah.
The Stalkers were being targeted because they blinked too far forward too.
All right, let's get into it. Game number 2 now between these two as our Protoss currently 1 game up. As we load onto Habitation Station, up to the top left. He is leading in this series, looking to advance on to the grand finals. It's My Insanity's StarDust.
Oh, jeez.
And over here, wait a minute, where's he gone? Uh-oh. Oh, there you are, over at the gold base. It's ForGG.
You know, I just had a discussion with StarDust on how to play against the gold base on this map.
All right.
He asked me what I do on this map. So that basically, I told you that he asked me for advice.
Yeah.
And I told him.
You didn't tell him that story, did you, that you told him?
Oh, no.
Oh, okay.
I told him I go Colossus on 1 base. And then he looked at me and he said, that's awful. So I'm pretty sure we're not going to see that.
Wow.
And yeah, my question is here, is he going to realize early that he's up against this kind of a build? And does he go for a 1-gate Nexus with 1 gas? If I had to guess, I'd say maybe a double gas opener here is likely. And some kind of Stargate play, finally, could come into action. Because that's what I saw him do earlier when he was practicing on this map.
All right, well, we'll find out in just a bit. We've seen this a lot from Terrans as of late in the current metagame, and they do like their gold bases a lot. This can be a very aggressive push from ForGG, considering what we saw from him yesterday, considering we saw stuff like Banshee tank, Marine pushes against Wellmore and Overgrowth, for example. That could be a very easy go-to here for ForGG, but StarDust currently scouting out for, hey, where are you going? And San tweeted us as well.
San tweeting about this game versus Golden. That pylon, I wonder. Like, I would like to be able to say that's for a Stargate, but why here?
Yeah, why there of all places? I mean, it technically could be for just in case that ForGG poked in, he maybe won't be able to see things, but with him now seeing that gold base is active, we'll see how StarDust is going to shape his build-up, because there is no way at all. Wait a minute. What's going on? There is no way at all StarDust hasn't prepared for something like this. This extra pylon up here, that could quite easily be for that Stargate you were mentioning.
Yeah. This location makes a lot more sense for Stargates. I'm surprised that ForGG hasn't scouted at all. Not at all. Not a single SCV. He's seen nothing this game. Except his empty base early on. And well,
all right.
He called it. He did say he was going to go for that. And I'm pretty sure that There's going to be some oracles here made. I wonder how many, actually.
Yeah, and I'm wondering if 4GG, if anything, kind of forced his hand in that. You know, there was the potential that he was going to do it anyway. But for now, that bunker down to the south of the gold patch don't actually protect the entire mineral line against an Oracle if it were to come along. So it's going to be up to Marines to do a little bit of dancing in there.
But Widowmine plus Starport, I'm guessing, that's going to be thrown down now against the Stargate opener. This could be very good for 4GG. If he had opened with just one gas and bioforces.
Oh, it's so. If he actually placed the Widowmine right behind the extractor, the refinery, because it's really, really difficult to see, right?
Yeah.
We've seen that a lot of times. So if he actually went for something like that to defend himself here, that could be absolutely amazing for him, considering where the bunker is, and he would always try and navigate around that location.
Yeah. I think StarDust is trying to see maybe if there is double gas. He should definitely look for that. If he sees double gas, he would know that there is a factory. And then from there, well, he can just be a lot more careful with the Oracle, play defensively instead of aggressively with it.
Okay, so he reveals the Widowmine, so he now knows that that's a potential factor.
Yeah, that's a mistake.
Yeah, stepping right outside of it. And the Oracle flew in a direction where the Widowmine would have killed it off if it was in that spot, but now
Say
just
hello to my little friend.
That's a lot of damage that can be done by it, but ooh, needs to save it, and causing those Marines a bit of a headache to try and get to it. Gotta be so careful with this. Diving in and out, and needs to recall as well. Run away! Okay, time warp.
Yeah, so much for a gold base. He's actually mining less.
All right. These always create very, very strange games. StarDust is now going to go for a Nexus as well behind this.
Ooh, the Medivac is out. And the Widowmine. Actually, no, there's no Widowmine in it. He's going to drop a Hellion and 3 Marines.
The Widowmine's still at home, right?
Oh,
defending.
StarDust is panicking. He's walling off his ramp with pylons.
Oh, wow.
Is he ready for this? He doesn't have a single stalker. He's bringing out the probes.
Wow, okay, so they're going to fight for a little bit. He really wants to be able to tank with the Oracle or something, I guess.
Stalkers are coming back, but they are quite far away from this.
This is a nice little bit of light harassment here that could do something. Does force the pickup, though.
Both players doing this really, really well.
Crazy little game here. Second Hellion tries to dart on him, but it becomes under fire from these Stalkers. Now working on some of those Marines as well. This is being cleaned up by StarDust very, very well, all things considered.
Yeah, is he going to get the Medivac? Ooh.
He was trying to at the beginning. 2 more extra gateways as well as a robo facility being added on here by StarDust as he's feeling a little bit more comfortable against this. But now we see the tanks in production for 4GG, something that he's been relying on in this matchup before, and he certainly executes it very well.
4GG has very few SCVs mining on minerals here, and somehow it's still doing a good job of mining out that gold base. Going for the 1-1-1 here, I have to say, I'm skeptical. I'm not sure how well it's going to work out, especially since he's getting some Vikings. He's really afraid of some kind of Void Ray play, I guess, or maybe Phoenixes. I don't know. Like in this game, there is no way that StarDust could somehow like really rush to Colossus and get them out on time. So I don't know why 4G is making Vikings. This is really weird.
Would it be to aid the siege tanks if he was trying to push forward, so they give him a little bit extra vision? Is that a
maybe,
potential?
but Medivacs usually are enough for that.
True.
The thing is, Photon Overcharge obviously is really going to help against this 4GG. Like the only way he can make this work is if he has so many units that it doesn't matter that there is a Photon Overcharge. But in this case, his army is pretty small right now. Even though StarDust, he's small too. You see that StarDust is chrono boosting out all of his gateways right now. He knows that this is coming. He knows what he has to do to defend. So he's getting Immortals out. He started the Robo Bay.
But likewise for 4GG, there's a timer above his head as well. His gold base is mining out very quickly. StarDust has a significant advantage in terms of income as well against him because that second base is up. So this is, getting a little bit scary here for 4G, although he does pack a punch with this kind of space control if he's able to get set up. So StarDust is trying to deny that as much as he possibly can do. And needs to move back with that Immortal. It does not want to die to Marines. He needs to keep that alive.
Ooh, he's dealing the Photon Overcharge a lot. Could he force field maybe something? No. There's a Medivac anyway, so not going to risk it. Yes, he does.
Oh, and lets those Marines filter through. A good escape there by 4GG. StarDust pressed by time.
The Oracle's doing a ton of damage. The Widowmine.
What did the Widowmine hit?
Oh, the illusion. The hallucination of the Phoenix, he sent one. I was wondering why he's doing that too. I guess like scouting didn't feel that important at this time in the game. He knew that what 4GG was going for anyway, so he sent the hallucination in, he detonated.
That's so clever.
And then sent in the Oracle.
Yeah, the fact that it was detonated, but during all of that is pretty crazy. Now, though, ForGG has a little bit of a contain setup on this second base, but he needs to do damage because still the income for StarDust is sufficient enough to be able to eventually hold this off. ForGG is still against that timer. He now walks up the ramp. Has to be careful. Those sentries have energy.
Yeah, there is so much units. He couldn't pick up everything right away. The photon overcharge expires. There is not another one available. 80 energy. I think StarDust might have to go for a fight here and
catches a lot of that army on the side of the force fields. The Marines are going to absolutely dissolve. The Immortal's also trying to get on top of those siege tanks. If he can more just walk a little bit further forwards, he gets one of the siege tanks. StarDust right now is making this work. He's holding on. And there's very little firepower left here for ForGG. This is his entire army absolutely shredded. Great moves by StarDust so far. Great defense. Great crisis management during all of this. I mean, the harassment before kind of kept ForGG back in his base, really not able to do anything with that. And then behind it, he was establishing a good economy.
StarDust's base is so sad. He's out of minerals. He's only got 2 barracks.
There's just Marines left
space.
here. There's nothing that StarDust actually has. The one Colossus comes along as well to complement this army.
This Oracle was a game changer, man.
Yeah.
12 SCVs have been killed by that Oracle, original Oracle. There's not even a tank out now for ForGG. And this is going to be it.
Yeah, that one Colossus gives him all the power in the world to kill off SCV after SCV. Even the medevac going to try and do something over the other side, but this one Colossus without Thermal Lance of all things is just going ham. He is having the time of his life.
Widowmine in StarDust mineral line. Oh, he stopped. The Widowmine stopped time.
Wow. That was impressive, actually, you know. All right, so for now, there's not a whole lot ForGG can do. This is there you go, GG. StarDust takes a 2-0 lead here in this best of 5 after controlling game number 2 very, very impressively.
That was pretty nice. Pretty nice of a way to deal with the gold base. Just cute moves here and there by StarDust, you know, being very aggressive right from the early game, going there with a mothership core, checking out what's up, and revealing that Widowmine, I feel, was definitely ForGG's biggest mistake in this game. He revealed it way too early, and he didn't have any information. He didn't scout at all, so he didn't know that there was oracles on the way. Obviously, for us, again, it's very easy to talk about it. We do see everything, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know what he was expecting, really. Like that Widowmine was never going to do anything significant in the location it was placed in. So hiding it overall, probably a better choice almost every single time. King Sejong Station next map, there is something special in store here.
Yeah?
I'm not going to spoil it just yet. You'll see.
All right then. But, I mean, StarDust is currently 2 games up. He has 3 match points to his name to move on to the Grand Finals to play against San, whereas our Terran Hope in WCS Europe is on the ropes. He has to take 3 games in a row against a guy who has looked very solid against him so far. So, can ForGG do it? It's going to be difficult.
Against this man, it isn't going to be. It's so hard to play against somebody like StarDust. He can do anything.
Yeah.
Any cheese. Sometimes he can play macro very well. He said it himself. He plays macro sometimes just to prove people wrong. And hey, it works.
Yeah,
he wins
it
a lot
does.
of game with it too.
Yeah, he has a great record against Terrans in the WCS system. Like 17 wins and very, very few losses. And let's get into things. Game number 3 now for the semifinals. StarDust is at match point. Oh. Uh-oh. All right. Hey, that probe line looks kind of sparse. Spawning down to the bottom right-hand corner, we have our red Protoss, currently 2 games up. It's My Insanity's StarDust. And up to the top left-hand corner, could get a bit of a nasty surprise in a bit. Representing Millennium, it's ForGG. Todd, what is going on?
Okay, so StarDust, he's going to proxy a gateway, obviously, and the reasoning behind it is that ForGG on this map always does the same builds.
Right.
And he doesn't really scout for the main of his opponent. Like, even if he sends an SCV across the map, he doesn't get into the main of his opponent. He stays on the natural to block a potential Nexus going down. So if he sees this too late, which is likely, the Zealots walking there, usually it's 2 Zealots followed by a very quick Stalker. They just walk in there, they start wrecking SCVs left and right. They can cancel stuff, having this wall up here by ForGG, I wonder if he's going to close that. If he was to close this, it will be huge. Right? He's not supposed to.
He's rallied. I mean, if you look at the rally point for that SCV, it is rallied to that location to actually start walling.
This would be crazy.
So this could be scary.
He's going to go for a gas 15, I think.
Oh, wait, has he cancelled the rally now? I think he may have done. But anyway, we'll find out in just a little bit. As there's the gas. So this is this the cybernetics called Stalker one? There's the there's the supply depot lined up here, Todd.
Oh, God. This is not good.
Is it a disaster?
No, well, not yet. I mean, if the Zealots get in there and 4G is not ready, they couldn't move up that ramp, you know, in which case it will be an absolute disaster for 4GG all of a sudden. I don't know. He's not supposed to see this since he's not even going for a scout at all. It looks like he's going to rally his Marine down. So I guess the Marine could be caught out of position. But then as long as the wall is up, 4GG should be in decent shape. The thing is, there is going to be a very quick Stalker behind this. Always. Like, I think it's 2 Zealots into a Stalker, a very quick Stalker. And you know what? StarDust knows how to transition out of this as well. This is not an absolute all-in. You see he's making probes.
Yeah.
Even chrono boosting them here for some time.
He's on 16 at the moment against 15 SCVs. This one Marine is going to be joined by a companion, and then he starts a reactor. That's going to take a long time to build. And then if these 2 Marines get caught unaware...
Yeah, actually, starting the reactor means he's only going to have 2 Marines.
Yeah.
Since he's not getting a bunker, that Stalker coming in after is really going to help.
Okay, he lifts the wall. He now sees the threat. These 2 Zealots are going to have to do a lot of damage. Actually, he could kill the reactor.
Yeah, he needs to start a bunker right now. Fortunately, that is. He's going to do just that. But the Stalker is about to come out. Time is running out for StarDust here. He needs to do some damage. He has to do a lot of damage.
There's more chrono boosts there into the gateway. This Stalker really needs to get on top of that SCV. Stop that from making the bunker as quickly as possible. And then they also need to start working on some of these buildings. The reactor finishes, so this is now all repairable as a wall. It's up to this Stalker to do a lot here. All of the SCVs rightly positioned to start continuing that bunker.
If he goes for the depot, he will get in there.
Oh, it's very, very low.
SCVs.
All right, he needs to start shooting those as quickly as possible. They were trying to focus down that Stalker. It's actually low. Oh, what a save. Very, very close to dying off. The depot goes down as well. He needs to make more and more Marines, though, but he's actually not making them.
Oh, he can kill the SCV from down there. The Zealot is just giving vision.
Oh, dear. All right, he's going to start working on the barracks with this, and does actually force the stoppage of that command center. Has to be very careful about how he's doing this because he's supply blocked. He can't make any more Marines at this point, and he hasn't started a supply depot at the back, so he'd have to supply call, but at the supply depot that's at the front. Oh, wait, did he just finish another? Oh, no, okay, the command center finished. Never mind.
StarDust is getting a robo behind this. I thought he was going to go for a Nexus, at least beforehand. I mean, he saw the factory, but there's no reason to overreact. He's killed quite a few SCVs. It's always going to be hard for a Terran to really rush Medivacs here, in addition with the initial command center that he made. But StarDust thinks this is the right move, and
oh, ouch. All right, let's go for 4GG. This could be the start of a potential comeback here for him.
4G is not interested in that proxy gateway here. He's just going to move across the map to try and get that Widow Mine burrowed somewhere. There is no mothership core, by the way. No photon overcharge.
He's got to be so careful about how he does this. Very, very careful.
Are these units somehow going to reach the main? Like, there's no units there. An observer is about to come out, but...
Yeah, and that observer is just going to render this in Widow Mine completely redundant, unless he does save up energy for a scan in anticipation of it, but that's a long shot here for him.
Ooh, does he know? Yeah, he saw it.
Close. He sees it on the edge as well.
It's funny how 4GG is like being paranoid right now. He thinks this is going to be Oracle, so he burrowed that Widow Mine in his mirror line.
Really good cleanup there to start things off. As long as he doesn't lose Stalkers to these Marines as well, he should be all right.
StarDust is getting an Immortal. I don't know if that's an overreaction to this attack or if he actually wants to go for some sort of Immortal push. He definitely needs to add additional gateways if he wants to do that.
Does he add on another one is the question. Warp Prism.
Forge.
He's actually going to drop this
Immortal.
Immortal.
He could do an elevator attack.
Yeah.
He's moving across the map right now, which is very risky. That means he doesn't have an observer back at home, and 4GG is relentless with those drops.
How many observers?
On,
he only got the one observer, right? So where is it on the map at the moment?
It's at the natural.
Oh, okay, so it's way out of position.
Yeah, he wanted to counter-attack with a lot of Stalkers, and plus the Immortal.
So that's bit of
actually, no, he kept the Immortal back at home. Yeah, he wants to wait for the Warp Prism for that. 4GG, man, he's turned on the autopilot. Remember the endless drops against Bunny in Season 1?
Got to keep going, got to keep dropping. And will this do a lot? I mean, again, he doesn't have any observers with this. He started another Immortal, so it's going to take a long, long time to clean up these Widow Mines. He wasn't reacting in time. Oh! Okay. Oh! That was quite a few dead. 10 or so in total. Nice connections there for ForGG. StarDust has to be so careful about how he's going to control that. Yeah, but also the Marines going to town as well. He's losing so many workers. 14 have died off.
Back at home here for ForGG, a scan I think would be good on the Observer. If he was to snipe that, to really have... Ooh, the
Immortal. StarDust needs to warp against some units as well. There's not actually that many units to deal with this. There's only 11 Marines.
The tank is about to come out right next to that Immortal.
He's actually killing off the barracks. I didn't expect that to die off, but there you go. There's another drop, though, at the natural. Trying to kill off a few of these workers. Should be able to shoo it away. Needs to save that mothership core, though. Oh, it's very, very close. Don't die, don't die.
Attention. Oh, my God.
Still a little bit of damage being done here. Immortal trying to keep itself alive. Oh, the siege tank needs to be kept alive behind all of this.
Those 2 Marines across the map, they are not dying.
Oh, he needs to pull off the probes once again. ForGG, quick reactions, picking things up. This Immortal so close to death. And that Widow Mine, wow, got 3 Stalkers during all of that. You have to be so careful about how he's going to do this. SCV's pulled off the line. He lifts everything up, trying to get out there. The Marine's going to try and chase it down. He will get a Stalker during all of that, though. And he's still not mining from his main base. GG. ForGG starts the comeback. Crazy game number 3. But I wouldn't have it any other way, Todd.
The original proxy could have done a lot better if ForGG had gone for a different build. He did a decent job, given the circumstances. I feel like he could have done a lot worse as well. And from there, ForGG, very good reactions to basically everything that was happening. I really like that move out, actually, across the map. It surprised both me and StarDust in the same way. Like, when you're in the situation versus a Terran where you proxied, the Terran, instead of going across the map and attacking, will almost always go for the barracks first, try to take it out the pylon as well. So I think that's what StarDust was picturing. So he was thinking that ForGG is basically just waiting, probably, until he has enough units to finally move out, take out that gateway and the pylon. So he didn't see those units move out, and then once they made their way across the map, he had to come back, and then he was always in a weird situation where the attack that he wanted to go for was always delayed. So he counter-attacked with the Observer plus a few Stalkers, but like I said, he left nothing back at home. He didn't get a cannon, even though he had a Forge. Imagine if he had made a single cannon in the main.
Yeah.
He could have also dodged those Widow Mines, those Widow Mine shots. Now he lost like, what, 9 probes from the first 2 detonations?
Yeah, something like that.
Which made you scream like Santa, by the way.
Oh, yeah, that's all right. Dude, when I actually see some good connections with the Widow Mines, I'm happy as anything.
You go full Santa.
Full Santa, man. Full Santa. The ForGG, he's started the comeback for him and for Terrence. There's a lot of support here in the studio for ForGG, and StarDust is very, very warm by the looks of things, as are we all in the studio. But the countdown has begun now for game number 4. And it's going to be Overgrowth, so a good old standard to go to. Do we see ForGG go for a similar build to what he pulled out against Wellnu here, with the siege tanks, banshees, bunkers, right in the face of his opponent? We'll find out in just a little bit. Let's get into it now. ForGG versus StarDust, game number 4, as we are in the semi-finals of World Championship Series Europe. Spawning up to the top right-hand corner, we have our red Protoss. Representing my insanity, it's StarDust. You guys are awesome. Oh my God, such a loud crowd today. And down to the bottom left-hand corner, we have our blue Terran representing Millennium. Let's hear it for ForGG.
Let's do a little recap. Game 1, StarDust Nexus first into some 2-base. Well, I was going to say macro game, not really. It was a 2-base timing with lots of Colossus, but a good build-up on the economy. Game 2, Proxy Oracle. And then very successful with that. Game 3, Proxy Gateway. Now Game 4, what does he do? Does he keep on mixing it up? I think that will be a good idea. Something that could be good here is maybe an Oracle into 3 Nexus. He called that in the video. He said that was one of the builds that he could do. So if he was to open with an Oracle here, he could just play it safely, you know, fly in there, make sure he doesn't fly into the middle line, into a Widow Mine or something, since it doesn't look like StarDust is going to be scouting early on. And yeah, double gas is going to be the opener. So if he was to open Oracle here, I would like to see maybe something like a 3 Nexus build. I think on this map in particular, it can be very, very strong.
Likewise, we're going to have a gas go down just a bit for 4GG. There it goes. So
Gas 15 though, not 12, so not Reaper.
Yeah, he's doing the same build that he was doing against Welmu. If things to go exactly the same way, that gas timing is the same one he was using against Welmu in yesterday's series. So if we see that come out, I'm very, very interested to see StarDust's ability to deal with it, because Welmu did crumble under the pressure.
The Stargate is gonna be out on the map. There's no second pylon made by StarDust.
All right.
It's gonna be very close to 4GG as well.
Gotta be careful, 4GG. This could end your tournament run if you're not careful.
One Oracle could end his tournament run.
One Oracle. It's a scary unit, man. It's a scary unit if you're not prepared for it. And if 4GG does stick to what we saw him do yesterday, you know, he doesn't really have huge numbers of units to really kind of deal with something like this if it comes along. I mean, he's going to be rushing up to that factory pretty quickly after the reactor. And then from there, maybe just a sprinkle of Marines here and there are going to be what he's using to try and deal with this.
Yeah, I get a feeling that StarDust, he wanted to use Oracle before with Gateway Aggression. It will basically an all-in. And he wasn't allowed to do this on Habitation because the 10th player was on the gold base, and you can't really do that. Like, you cannot do a run-by into his main. Whereas on this map, if he was to go for additional gateways behind the initial Stargate that he's going for, he could really do like a ton of damage, maybe move past a bunker that would be around natural. The thing is, since he's not going up against Pure Bio, it's going to be tricky for his Oracles to deal with Widow Mines here once again.
All right, and tricky kind of scout probe will head on out here with the Mothership Core and the Stalker to just poke around at the front, kind of gauge exactly what 4GG is up to.
I'm really surprised that 4GG is not scouting early on, by the way. Again, this is a game where he's playing completely blind. You are against StarDust.
Yeah.
If he was able to see that there's no second pylon and all that, you know exactly what you're up against. He's going to be an Oracle almost every single time. So then you start preparing a lot better. And again, I feel like this is what on Habitations cost him the game.
Ooh, this could actually be devastating. If he is a little bit scared of the fact that there is a Stalker and Mothership Core at the front, that all of these Marines' attention could be focused solely here, and then the Oracle could do significant damage in the back, because right now he's only got 6 Marines. What you see on the screen is what he's got. He's trying to go for the Mothership Core, does get it. That's a nice pickup there, but he's got to be careful because the Oracle is going to be flying straight for... He's going for the Marines.
Whoa.
He's actually going to go for the Marines with the Stalkers as well in tandem. Uh-oh, and those Marines are going to fall very, very fast. If he kills off all of those, there's not much defense at the front. This is a great start for StarDust.
And no additional gateways. I think he might go for a Nexus. He's not macroing very well, actually, right now. 600 murals for StarDust. I guess he's focused on murdering more SCVs with that one Oracle. A second one is about to arrive. There's still no Widow Mine. A Viking is on the way, but it's only halfway through dawn right now.
Stalker's trying to do a little bit of damage at the front here. That last Marine does end up dying off. Another one needs to come out very, very quickly. SCVs are going to get worked on fast as well. That Viking absolutely needs to be out here to help this situation. Without that, he is not going to be shutting down this Oracle. He's taken so many losses here. 14 workers against 26. It's a big deal.
Yeah. 14 SCVs. This is bad. No mules to work with. Like, he already used a whole bunch, so he only has 1 right now as well.
Clever moves by StarDust, though, realizing that the counterattack is certainly potential there, and will wall that off and make sure that the Mothership Core's respawned.
He's just going to trade that Oracle for even more SCVs. This is the right move here. He's already killed so many. That's
13.
Keeping on lowering the amounts of SCVs for 4GG is almost always the right move. The other Oracle is out on the map, doing a bit of scouting around.
And he's always got to be careful of it as well. He needs, like, Widow Mine maybe placed in his mineral line to deter that from ever coming back. This is a hard position for 4GG to fight from. The one compensatory fact that he has in this game is that he does have that second command center. So 2 SCVs coming out at a time against the only 1 probe, but another Nexus is going to be finished pretty soon.
Without that, he would probably have already left.
Yeah.
Tosalian's not able to do much here. I wonder what StarDust goes into from there. Is he going to standard Colossus? I think that would be the most likely thing that he could do. And since he's so far ahead, if he was to go for, say, a similar timing to what he did on Frost, he would have so much. Even without, if he was to keep upgrades in particular, like some kind of 2-base Colossus timing would be insanely strong here. I mean, when does ForGG start Steam at this point?
It's going to take a long time.
9 minutes in, he doesn't even have a tech lab on his... He gets a tech lab on his
It's
factory.
tanks, man. It's got to be tanks.
Is he going to try to make it work?
I guess so. No, it's as if he's sticking to what he was doing against Wellmu, but so kind of straight down the line that but it's from a position that was so ineffective.
I think he knew these stalkers would get in there now and try to snipe those depots, so he wanted to get some tanks. I don't think he's really scared about some kind of blink play, even though that's also a possibility behind this.
Observer's keeping good eyes on everything on the top. Oh, he supply blocks him as well here. These stalkers really going to town, going to work. There's not a whole lot as Marines you can do, 'cause as you mentioned before, you know, there's no stim here for them. There's no marauders out with concussive shells, for example. So stalkers are having a field day. The Hellions may have tried to block them on the ramp there. That would have been a very smart move for ForGG if he'd have got it, but
17 SCVs have died this game, James.
that's a lot. It really is. Another one goes down as well, and he does see that tank on the high ground, so he just moves on back with the stalkers. This is a very, very strong game so far by StarDust.
Yeah, he's got such a better economy at this point. He's transfer probes to his natural. He's pulling back now. He's done enough damage. He knows that since there is a single tank and there's probably going to be another one underway, he cannot do much more, so pulling back is the right choice. That reactor getting sniped is a big deal too. ForGG has to restart from scratch, and he gets a reactor first instead of a tech lab, so that 12-minute steam pack.
It further delays everything here. ForGG is in a sorry state. 25 workers against 36. StarDust's second Nexus is up and running, fully functional. He barely sees that medevac on the right-hand side.
And I think what StarDust is doing is so clever. He's going for double Forge and the Twilight. Going for Colossus at this point is not useful.
This is going to be very, very close. He's going to intercept it. How much damage can he get done? Will it be enough? Yes, it will. Nice pick up there by StarDust, further solidifying his position in this game. That double Forge whirring away. This is... So ForGG has such a mountain to climb. Somehow, some way, he has to find a way back in. Otherwise, he is eliminated.
Blink first time. A little bit surprised. I was expecting charge into Templars. But StarDust, even against tanks, he's getting Blink. I guess he already had a whole bunch of Stalkers. And he shut down that first drop very well. So he's probably anticipating more drops to try and be used by ForGG. I think ForGG has to go all in. He's just that far behind that the only thing he can do is mass out. Move out with SCVs. Ooh.
One stalker falls, tried to go out the wrong way, and took a little bit more damage, but that's about it.
The Oracle's still alive, by the way.
Full energy.
No, there are some turrets available, but you can snipe some units here and there.
Yeah. Is the natural protected as well? Yes, it is by a turret, so good stuff. 4 extra gateways with Immortals now in production. StarDust has seen his opponent's army. He's evaluated that position. Here comes the 3 SCVs as well. He's going to try and bunker up the front, or at least try and repair, but I'm thinking it's going to try and be the bunkers here. Can he do it at the front of this base? Is the question.
With some Immortals on the way and the 1-1 finishing, I just don't see this doing much at all.
Oh,
there is double photon overcharge available, by the way, just in case you wondered.
All right, he's going to try and slowly move towards his opponent. This is what we saw before against Wellmu, but it was in a far, far better position for StarDust. He actually goes for a counterattack right as this attack hits as well. So it's a really, really good start for StarDust to kind of eventually push this away. And he sees it all with an observer at the front, so he can buy a little bit of time and wait up for things to finish.
Yeah, StarDust he's heavily supply blocked, so he's getting 4 pylons right now. He's missing a Templar Archive, by the way. I think ideally right now you would like to be getting a lot of Zealots and Archons to really be able to tank against this. The Oracle dies against the bunker here.
Nice.
So ForGG is not out of it just yet. If you look at the supply, his army
supply is good.
Wow, he's got more army supply. Well, that one tank, I don't know what that was doing there. And it looks like StarDust wants to... I think he wanted to maybe try and counterattack, but now he's maybe going to set up a sandwich. No, he's going to go for the counterattack. He knows that there's not going to be much back at home. For his opponent, he's going to blink up the ramp, and ForGG is not ready enough, I think, against this, with just 1 tank.
Yeah, there's an observer there as well. So if a Banshee comes... Yeah, the Banshee...
Cloak is finishing.
Yeah, it falls down, but now he's going to have to deal with all these stalkers, with the Warp Prism reinforcing as well. He can't reposition his siege tanks too well.
Ooh, that tank.
Yeah, that one siege tank doing a lot of work to that middle line. Zealots now will charge forwards with these Stalkers, try and do some damage here. If we could get to that siege tank, that would be fantastic. It is being repaired. Stalkers try and bring it down, though they do get it. And there's still a lot of firepower in these Stalkers to continue on ravaging all of the reinforcements that will come out and getting so many more SCVs in the process.
ForGG has to attack. He has to attack the natural of StarDust, but he cannot. I'm actually surprised the Stalkers are not sniping that tank on the left-hand side. Probes are going to be pulled.
Oh, here he goes. He blinks forwards, bringing down one of the siege tanks. Zekon will end up falling very fast as well. He needs to get to that one at the back, and he ends up denying that one. The two bunkers at the front left over. There's nothing for ForGG to go on. GG! StarDust is able to advance on to the grand finals. What absolute control we saw in that final game of his. That was absolutely phenomenal by him.
WCS Europe, PvP finals.
We've seen a few of those.
I'd say everything falls right in order here. Falls right into place.
Right in order. ForGG devastated by that loss. He really, really wanted the final going into this tournament, but alas, that chance has faded from him, and now we have a PvP final. StarDust versus San, and StarDust, just in that series there, looked really, really good. It was, again, I have to say, a very control-based style, really working to his strengths.
I really wonder why ForGG scouted so little. I feel like this is so much weaker than just sending an SCV out on the map early on and seeing exactly how many guys you're up against, what opener it could be. And it's similar to some situations in PvP, you know, where builds counter each other. And like if you play against a standard player that doesn't cheese much, then you can skip the scout. But if you play against somebody cheesy like StarDust, it's much better to scout, because the one time that you see he doesn't have a second pylon in his main, you know that it's proxy down on the map and it's probably a Stargate, most likely. And then you can try and search for it, you can confirm it, and then from there you just adjust perfectly. Whereas now ForGG was basically trying to say, I hope I get lucky somehow. And he's not going for that, but he was going for that Oracle. And ForGG was not ready.
All right, well, our finalists have been determined here at WCS Europe. Let's hear from one of them now in StarDust.
Thank you, Kalaris. StarDust, well done. Congratulations. That seemed quite straightforward in the end, but what was it from your point of view? Did everything go to plan? Was everything work the way that you thought it would?
Actually, I prepare each map of build, then I use that, but I wanted to showing like a 4 straight game for only proxy Stargate, but unfortunately ForGG choose very hard map for proxy Stargate, like Frost is post-spam map, so I have already different build, so I try only 2 game proxy Stargate, then I'm a little bit sad because I wanted to showing like 4 different cheese. Yeah.
So you wanted to do a bit of cheese dust this time?
I just learned from CJ House about cheese. They not teach me cheese, but when they teach macro, I realized about cheese. So, yeah.
Yeah, because your games had a little bit of everything in. You had a macro, you had cheese, you had a bit of proxy. It was like you've become a very good all-round player now.
Actually, I'm not prepared yet about game because I don't have time for practice. Maybe as last time I say the same thing. So give me some time, then getting more cheese, more macro.
Okay, but if you haven't practiced very much, right, and you're in the WCS Europe Premier League final, what are you going to be like when you've been playing, when you've been practicing?
Maybe,
no one's going to be able to beat you.
Maybe winning BlizzCon. Yeah.
Ah, I like that. I like that confidence. I like that. You're not too far away from BlizzCon now, but you have to be in the top 16. So you need to win today as well.
I think I'm maybe 99% in BlizzCon already. So from now I'm preparing for BlizzCon. So showing nice skill at biggest tournament. That's my dream.
Okay, so we've got WCS Europe Grand Final coming up today against San. You lost last time you played him.
I think I lost 2 times in a row. From Asus ROG was semifinal. I lost 3-0. Then in WCS round 16, I think, and lost 2-0. And
why?
early in the years, I have huge confidence about my PvP, but some reason I lost my confidence. Then my play very sucks. I don't know why, but I just try my best today. Then if God like me, he will choose me.
Okay, well done and congratulations and very good luck to you in the final. It's going to be a great final with you and San, so best of luck.
Thank you very much, and show is still going.
Show is still going. You heard it from StarDust right there. It is still going. And let's catch up with some analysis and a breakdown of exactly how this man won 3-1.
Thank you very much, Red Eye. I am here once again with my favorite buddy, my screen. I'm just going to have a quick look at that game, or that series, should I say. We're going to jump to Habitation Station. And there was a cool move that we didn't quite watch in the actual series. We missed it a little bit, but I want to walk through it and what I felt was really cool and pretty awesome stuff to start us. So a small recap more so than analysis. So first of all, before we play the game, StarDust has already dealt a 5 SCV loss to his opponent, already slowing down his income on this one base strategy. And every single SCV at this point is really important to power up for a finisher before Protoss gets too comfortable on the 2 base setup that they have. Another thing that was really cool throughout the game, and traditionally in StarDust type games, his control has been spectacular. He's really got a lot of damage from his units, which other Protoss players sometimes wouldn't be able to do as well as he does. As we can play this game from here on out, he has 3 Stalkers in the middle. He's already dealing damage all the time, a Marine hero there, and he's able to control while doing everything back at home really well. This is just something that was just very repeated throughout this game. We can fast forward it a little bit now and look at the biggest play, I think, of this entire game on Habitation Station, which really changed the pace of the series. Aside from this control, we saw a hallucinated Phoenix being used to detonate or to get the detonation from the Widow Mine for the Oracle to go in to really land the economic hit. Here it comes in. We didn't actually see it live, so I wanted to come back and watch it again. And this is really intelligent. I mean, we can pause it here for a quick second. First of all, I mean, Todd mentioned it in the cast. You don't actually need to scout what's going on. That's not a scout at all. It is a complete opening for the Oracle to come in. And from this point on, the Oracle comes in, there's no Widow Mine protection, and this is such a beautiful counter, which then further killed 6 extra SCVs. It also stopped Marine production, it slowed them from getting over the other side. And before this happened, I think ForGG was looking decent. There was minimal units from StarDust. He was gonna continue to waypoint over and was getting more and more momentum as time went on. But this just put the halt to the train of ForGG. And from there on out, he was able to buy enough time with the halted production facilities and production capabilities from ForGG. Really cool play from StarDust, and I'm sure he's going to bring out more cool play in the finals. All right, thanks for listening to me nonsense, and I'm going to hand it over to Red Eye.
All right, okay. Thanks very much, Apollo. Easy, boys, now, easy. The semi-finals might be over, but the serious business is about to start. Just call it, Whelmel. Calm down now, all right? The PVZ matchup is next. Don't go too far away. We'll be right back with it.